Hello, my name is Ries and this is the first of 4 videos about making recordings with homework. And it isn't about the computer, it isn't about the software, and it isn't even about playing. All 4 videos have as subject the mental aspect of making recordings. And of course, I'm an organist, so I use this machine. But I think these 4 videos can also be interesting for performers of all other kinds of musical instruments, a piano or a violin or whatever. And maybe even for live performances, but more about that later. I'm a Dutch guy, so speaking Dutch is my native language. English isn't, so maybe there are some errors in my English. So I want to excuse me beforehand, for that, but I hope I can explain myself clear in English. I have some papers to spot on for specific English words. Making videos. I make a lot. Before we go to video making, if you want to know more about my professional background, then I invite you to go to my personal homepage. That's www.gatorworks.nl. There you can download my resume, my professional resume, so you can learn that I've been schooled in the matter I'm talking about in this video. So, recordings. I make a lot. I've promised myself and my subscribers to publish a video a day. So that means a lot of learning and a lot of making errors and making a lot of recordings. This is my new houtwerk console. And I have on the moment 2 pieces at the desk. And I first gonna play a snippet from each of them. And then we go folk. First of all, a snippet from Ich ruf zu dir, Herr Jesu Christ, the well-known choral from Johann Sebastian Bach, with the number 639. And the second piece is a Dutch children's song in een groen groen krullenland. Translated in English, in a green green pasture land. Two songs, totally different. The first, Baroque choral, a very serious choral, and the second, a happy children's song. What's the difference? Technically, I have to do the same. I have to use my feet and my hands. Is the first one more difficult? Yeah, it's a lot more difficult to read and to play. But at the second hand, the second piece requires a lot more from me mentally, because I'm interpreting. It's only a lead sheet, so my feet have to find the wrong way, have to make a rhythm. My hands have to make a rhythm. I fill in the chords. And this one, I just have to play notes. And still this is more difficult. And as a matter of fact, this is for me a very difficult piece. And more about that later. 4 videos. The first video, this video, goes about the subject me and my task. The second video has a subject head versus heart. The third video has as title good is good enough. Good enough. And the fourth is a wrap-up with tips, tricks and all kinds of workarounds in depth to make your recordings nicer and more rewarding and easier. So that's a lot. That's a lot. But today it's all about me and my task. And I'm gonna close this children's book with a funny organ at the front page. And put it away, and I take this one in the middle. Me and my task. Of course, there are a lot of aspects in making recordings. First of all, you have to have your setup right. It must technically be okay. Your organ has to run, and the software has to work. Second, you have to know your stuff. You have to learn your stuff. And we all know that some pieces are more difficult than others. So some pieces require much more learning work. If you look at my channel, you can see a few pieces that are composed by Graham Twist. And he uses a specific musical language that for me is very difficult. So I really have to learn his pieces before they are alright to perform. While for others, it's not difficult at all. If you go to another friend, Fraser Garchor, he can play pieces from Graham in sight reading. Of course, he's a professional organist, and I don't. But there's of course a difference. By the way, if you want to learn more about performance and how to learn pieces, then I suggest you are going to the YouTube channel from Vidas Pinkvicius, Seekers of Organ Playing. He tells a lot of tips, tricks, he gives lessons about how to play right, how to learn pieces, how to perform. That's nice. And if you want to learn something about making attractive pieces for people, then I suggest you go to the channel from Australians' most beloved YouTube organist James Flores, because he's also made a few videos about that subject. But this one goes about the mental aspects. And today I'm going to use a model from a sports psychologist. Is the German psychologist Specher, and he is specialized in performance, sport performances, and what is necessary to deliver the best performance at the right moment. And there are a lot of similarities between sporters, top sporters, and musicians, because both have to perform exactly on the right moment. And we as musicians have to perform exactly on the right moment if we are recording or if we are performing for a public. And it's the same for sporters. They have to perform at the moment that the game takes place. For instance, if you are a runner and you are doing the 100 meter, then you only have 9 seconds or so, 10 seconds to perform. Dus all energy, all focus, all attention has to go to that 10 seconds of performing. So how can you do that? And what are the difficulties? And that I want to talk about today. As I said earlier, I use this piece as an example because I'm of course an example because I perform a lot and I record a lot. And some pieces are more difficult to me and some pieces are less difficult. And it hasn't much to do with the difficulty of the piece. That's also interesting. Some pieces written in C major are far more difficult to play and to record, to perform, than pieces with 4 or 5 sharps. So it's all about musical language and how my brain connects with it. And the most important fact is how good I am in concentrating and get my attention totally to my performing. So, Specher use a model, a sort of wheel with 6 circles. And if you want to perform, to record, you have to be in the first circle. And the first circle is about me and my task. But before we are there, we first go to the distractions in the circles around it. So first of all, we go to the 6th circle. And in the 6th circle, your mind wanders to the question, what am I? I use this as an example. What am I? I work in the field of psychology and ethics. And in the evening and sometimes during the day, I am an organist. I'm a part-time organist. But I'm no professional organist. I have a lot of professional organists around me, but I am not. So my first distraction thought can be, I am not as good as my friends. I'm not as good as James. I'm not as good as Fraser Garcher. I'm not as good as Dr. Phyllis Pink Visius. I'm not as good as Ray. And there are a lot more. So, what am I? I'm just an amateur. I'm a nobody. I can't play. That's a distracting thought. If I sit on the bench and I want to make a recording and that's my thought, I will not manage to record it. 6. Okay. Some people don't have a lot of burden by the 6th circle, but maybe they have a burden in the 5th circle. And that's all about performance consequences. If I play a piece very badly, then the consequence can be that my subscribers are leaving me. That I get less attention from the YouTube algorithm, that I get less likes, that people likes me not as much, don't encourage me. So I have to perform excellent to avoid negative consequences from my performances. So I'm thinking about what the consequences are. The other way around can also be, if I make a great recording, maybe famous people will like it. Maybe I get an invitation to do a recital in a beautiful English cathedral, or in a church in southern Germany. People who know me start going to laugh now. But that can also, or maybe if I make this a great performance, then I get more coffees, or I get more applause. So thinking about the performance consequences is a great restriction from anyone. And especially if you play and record very familiar pieces. Another friend, Jerry, played a time ago, a few weeks, a month ago I think, famous big works from César Franck, and he did it fantastic, maybe the best performance I've ever heard. But if you fail on that kind of pieces, there are people who are tending to not take you serious more. And if you fucked up a Bach piece, or a Buxtehude piece, or a Neil Mahler piece, or if you fuck up a Widor Stoccata, then people say, he's rubbish. You don't listen to him anymore. He can do nothing. But if I make the same errors that I maybe could have made in Widor Stoccata, that's an unfamiliar piece and no one notices it. That's strange. So if you are playing familiar pieces, well-known pieces, your public tends to be more critical. And of course you know that as a performing artist. And you know that the consequences from your performances are bigger, in the good and in the bad. That's number 5. 4 is success and failure. If you want to be successful, then you don't must think, I want to be successful. Because if you do so, you aren't. Because your thoughts wander away. If you think, I want to play this piece perfect. For instance, the 6-3-9. I want to play it perfect. Then you're going to start to make errors. If you are scared to make failures, then you also go wrong. And it's maybe even more important in live performances in church with public. If you are thinking, I have to play this right, it can't go wrong, or if you are thinking, if I go wrong, I'm a failure, I'm a total wreck, I can't make make things wrong. If I make an error, I'm gonna die right here on the bench. If you have that kind of thoughts, then your performance will be bad. So that kind of thoughts don't gonna help you. And read my lips. A lot of performing artists have a burden in circle 4, success and failure. Even professional organists, even the big professional organists, they all are scared in combination with, whoa, if I fail. For instance, if you have a big channel from 100,000, 80,000, 40,000 subscribers, of course, if you fail, the consequence is bigger because people talk about it. And you know that. But if you are thinking about it while you are performing, then you go wrong. A first trick, if you are doing live recordings or going live on YouTube, make a few errors. Just do it. And talk about it with your audience. Laugh about it. It gets the tension away and nobody cares from that moment. But if you make errors and pretending you don't, then it can go nasty if people hear it and go chat about it. But even then, you can react to it by saying making music isn't about perfection. It's about a human performance. It's about expressing yourself. But more about that in the second and the third video. Success and failure. The third circle is about distractions. There can be a lot of distractions that keep you off from performing on the right way. For instance, this is my second try to make this video, because earlier today I was recording and my neighbor was cleaning the garden for autumn. So he cut his trees with a machine, a lot of noise. So I was pissed and I stopped. So that distracted me, distracted the sounds, me, and I get pissed. A lot of distraction that happens a lot over here is if I do a recording and I close the door and I say, I'm recording, please do not enter. My wife steps in and asks to me, have you bought butter when you did the groceries this morning? Yeah, right. Then I have to count to 10. Or my children will boost inside after they are coming from school or in the evening. The technique fails of suddenly, as I am performing, the battery is drained from my iPad or whatever. But if you are thinking about that kind of distractions, possible distractions, your performance will be shit. So you have to focus your attention to your playing, not about distractions. If you are a runner, for instance, if you are seeing that people are standing too close on the road, and if you are focusing on that, you can't run on the right way. You just have to run at that moment, and later you can make a comment to the organization about people standing too close on the road and that kind of thing. So distractions. The second is very, very maybe emotional, it says a lot about you. And that's comparison. I should be. So in that circle you are gonna compare yourself with another performer. And that is my main distraction for recording 639. And I shall be honest with you, I've played and recorded far more difficult pieces than this one. But I've been trying it for a year and I can't record it. I can play it without any errors. But at the moment I'm pushing the record button, it goes wrong. That's strange. And for me it has all to do with being in the wrong circle. I'm in circle 2 because I am comparing myself with others, with professional musicians, with amateurs, even amateurs who play a lot more bad than I do, but they can replay this one. So in my brain, even my subconscious brain is getting thinking about what should I be, because I desperately want to record this one. So that's my burden at this one. And what is the solution? The solution is to stay in the first circle, me and my task. And what's my task? My task is play those notes on a musical way. That's my task. Nothing less, nothing more. So I have to shut down all other thinking processes. I have to shut down multitasking, because multitasking isn't possible at all. Not for men, not for women, regarding what some people say about that. If you really have to perform at your best, you have to focus on that thing. And not on being the best, but thinking about me and my task. Again, the runner, if you are wanting to run the 100 meter, you mustn't think about your breathing. You mustn't think about the applause at the end. You mustn't think about the fact that you maybe get a ticket to the Olympics after winning. You mustn't think about my wife loves me even more if I win. You mustn't think about maybe I'm too old to win. No, there's just one thing you have to do. Think about setting your one foot for the other. Running, walking, moving. And that's the way with performing music and for making recordings. So you have to have your mind in the first circle. How can you do that? And the answer is pretty simple. Just say it. Just say it to yourself. Just say to yourself, I'm going to make a recording and I feel fit. I feel fresh in my head, and I can be and I won't be and I will be in the first circle. And if you think it's difficult, say it to yourself in a mirror. It helps. And if you are on the bench and you're recognizing, hey, my mind is trailing to other circles, correct yourself. First accept the fact that it is, and let it go. Back to the first circle. And that's a similarity with mindfulness, because at mindfulness, the task is to stay in the present, in the now. And you have also a lot of distractions, distracting thoughts, and that's no problem. But be aware of it and let go. And if you are training yourself in that, then you will be able to make recordings on a more relaxed and on a relaxed way that gives more pleasure and fulfillment. So, the circles of attention, staying in focus, concentrated. So that was my today's video. As I said, I hope to publish the next one next week about head versus heart. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please try out my tips and let me know if you can use them. I am very curious about your findings about it. So thank you for your attention, and thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time in my musical videos each day, or in the next video in this learning series. Thank you and have a good day. Bye bye.